Before we finish, there's a quick question I had saved for you.
Hit me.
Your ability to articulate your thoughts is amazing. Do you have any advice for someone trying to learn that skill?
This is what I turned in for, baby. Let's get it.
I worked very
Lock
hard
in.
at it.
Lock in, lock in, lock in.
So I purposefully practiced for a long time. I have done 770 podcasts in
pretty good.
6.5 years.
Did 191. That's fine.
That's a lot of time and attention, right? I listened back to probably the first 50 or 100 episodes that we did and cringed at all of the weird verbal tics that I had and deprogrammed most of them consciously. There's this great story about Tiger Woods. So Tiger Woods gets towards the top of his game. He's one of the best in the world, but there's inefficiencies in his swing. You know, he started playing golf literally as soon as he could walk, probably even before. And he's just brought with him some old patterns that he needs to get rid of. But the problem is, for him to reinvent his swing, he's one of the best golfers in the world. To reinvent your swing, you're going to get way worse. You're basically starting from scratch. You're not even starting from scratch. You're starting from scratch with habits that are going to creep in, that are going to ruin the new thing that you're doing. It's even worse than kind of starting from scratch in some ways. But he did it. And that allowed him to take himself from being one of the best in the world to being perhaps one of the greatest of all time. And I thought about that when, for probably about 18 months, from maybe start of 2019 to the middle of 2020, actually probably more like 2020 to the middle of 2021, the show got worse because, or at least my communication skills got worse because I wasn't just saying what I felt, I was obsessing over the way that I said it. And you can't think about the thing that you're doing whilst being in the process of doing it. Like it takes you out of what you want is the flow, right? What we had to, there's an idea and it's...
This is the problem with a lot of people is they cannot get over themselves. They're so captured on what they're trying to say or in their own thoughts that they're not even saying what they're thinking. This is probably something that I've observed in a lot of different people. People need to just get over themselves. They need to simply just do the thing. Don't think about doing the thing. Just do the thing and live with the results, right? A lot of people, when they're trying to articulate their thoughts get in the way of their own speech. And then if it gets in the way of their own speech, they're not even thinking about speaking anymore. They're thinking about thinking instead of thinking about how do I articulate this thought.
Not right, it's this thing, it's a blah, 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 blah. That's what you want. But if you're thinking, okay, make sure that you pronounce your S's correctly and what's your tongue position and we mustn't say the word like and don't say too much and blah, 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 blah. You can't do both of those things at once. So the show got worse. So the tips that I would give would be you need to speak in a rigorous manner. And what I mean by rigorous is that you're actually trying to be as precise as possible. Precision is what people want with speech.
Okay.
And precision is using the right word. It's not the one that's too fancy. It's not the one that's too simple. It's not more. It's not less. It's precise. It's the number of words that you mean. Reduce the friction from brain to mouth. Okay, so you want to be rigorous with your speech. What are some of the ways that you can do that? Have a 30-minute conversation with a friend once a week where you record a fake podcast. So phones are out of the room except for one that's in the middle of the table. Put the phone on the table in front of you and have a conversation. Have a conversation about something that one of you is interested in. Maybe even text each other earlier in the day and say, hey, we're going to talk about what's going to happen in the 2024 election, or we're going to talk about who's going to win between Jake Paul and Mike Tyson, or we're going to have whatever it is. Pick whatever you're interested in and then listen back to all of the awful toe-curling tics and strange things that you say and that you do, and realize that I found the first ever episode I did of this show, I kept saying, all the time, because I wanted the guest to know that I was still listening, that I was paying attention, and I was, this is good, go on. Hey, guess what? You can do that by just nodding. Like, the invention already existed. You didn't need to do that. So I was, okay, well, I don't like the way that sounds when I listen back. How can I do something that achieves the same end without completely molesting the listening experience with me? So,
what?
Fake podcast once a week with a friend, 30 minutes. Listen back to it.
That's valid.
I would say listening to people that communicate in a manner that you like and immersing yourself in that content. Some great communicators. Jordan Peterson still.
Boom! I fucking knew it.
Old Jordan Peterson, like 2018.
Man, I fucking knew it, man. When I listen to Jordan Peterson and then I try to speak, I'm like on crack compared to my regular version. It is insane. If you've known me, I've only have done this with a few different people where I can watch it and I can I can like adopt his way of speaking for like a temporary amount of time. It is fucking incredible, incredible. The way he speaks is he's top tier, man.
2018, 2019, Peterson's
Fucking knew
phenomenal.
it though. He didn't say
Alain de
that.
Botton from the School of Life is maybe one of the most easy to get into because he's not got this unbelievably
I know he's not gonna say it, but Andrew Tate as well. I know he's not gonna say this shit.
slick communication style, but he gets the words out in a beautiful manner. So especially for the Brits, he's a British guy. And he's sort of like a bit of a bumbling, kind of likable British man, and he sort of talks a little bit. Sometimes he gets a bit up, but it still comes out very nicely. So you're like, oh, okay, so he can kind of add his charm and his personality in. Shapiro, obviously fantastic. Rogan, also really, really great. Sam Harris. So like, yeah, but pick your creator of choice, but find people that speak in a precise manner, immerse yourself in what they say, and listen carefully, and don't listen at 2 times speed. Hear the cadence. Where are they leaving pauses? How are they using silence correctly? How are they actually sitting with the body of? Are they saying words that sometimes elongate? Are they over articulating words in some ways to add a little bit more emphasis on it? And just after spending enough time doing this, you go, oh, okay, well, it's just like being around a friend. You know, like you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. You are the average of the 5 YouTube creators that you listen to the most.
Hamza said that
so
first.
those are some things. And then finally, if you do really, really want to turn it up, or if you just feel like this isn't enough of a hammer blow, going to an improv class will be phenomenal. I did that before my live tour that I did last year. I did 2 courses of improv. If you think that you've got social anxiety or that your mind doesn't work quickly enough, go to improv, and for a couple of weeks, everybody gets it wrong and everyone sucks. You know, they celebrate successes, and the way they celebrate successes they celebrate failures, and the way they celebrate failures is when you do something, when you mess up, like they're playing a game and you said bing instead of bang or whatever, you have to put both hands in the air and say I failed, and you bow and everyone claps. And it's getting rid of the social
That's
anxiety.
fucking
Okay,
sick.
it doesn't really matter.
That's
so
fucking
much.
sick.
It doesn't matter. I don't care about that. It's okay. It's all right to fail. It's safe for me to fail. Improv is great. Speech coaches are great. Miles at speakwell.co.uk is the guy that I use, still do use. Phenomenal. Toastmasters, I haven't done it, but I've heard that it's okay. But honestly, most of that stuff, and it's just time and attention. And then when you're speaking to people in a bar or whatever, just think about, okay, precision. Say the thing that you mean to say.
Precision, Big
Dude, have
Sean.
you seen that most recent whatever? And there you go. It's like, okay, that's a conversation. I'm just saying this stuff. And once you get out of your own way, it gets a lot easier.
Well, thank you for the conversation, my friend.